Luca and Marco had always been fascinated by the tales of Scottish folklore. They had spent their childhood reading about the mysterious creatures that roamed the land, imagining themselves going on adventures to discover them. As they grew older, they never lost their passion for these stories, and so, when they heard rumors of the Nuckelavee, they knew they had to investigate. The Nuckelavee was said to be the most terrifying of all Scottish folklore creatures. It was described as a demon, resembling a horse and rider fused together, with a single red eye and toxic breath. Luca and Marco had never seen anything like it, and so they made plans to go in search of the creature. They decided to explore an abandoned old ruins on the outskirts of a small village in Scotland. The ruins had been left untouched for years, and rumors had circulated that the Nuckelavee had been seen in the area. Despite warnings from the locals, Luca and Marco were determined to find the creature and document their discovery. As they entered the ruins, they felt a chill run down their spines. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding, and the only sounds were the creaking of the old wood and the rustling of the wind outside. They had brought with them all the necessary equipment, flashlights, cameras, and a map of the ruins. As they moved further into the ruins, they began to feel as though they were being watched. The shadows seemed to dance around them, and every sound made them jump. They began to wonder if they had made a mistake in coming here. It was then that they first saw the Nuckelavee. It appeared out of nowhere, as if it had been waiting for them. Its skin was a sickly gray, and its eyes glowed a malevolent red. Its breath was so toxic that they could taste it in the air, and they felt their throats constricting. The Nuckelavee seemed to be playing with them, darting in and out of the shadows, its hoofbeats echoing through the ruins. It would let them catch a glimpse of it, only to disappear again. Luca and Marco felt their fear growing with each passing moment. They knew that they were in grave danger. As they tried to make their way back to the entrance, they found themselves surrounded by the creature. Its toxic breath was now so strong that they were struggling to breathe. They knew that they had to do something, but they were paralyzed with fear. It was then that they remembered the tales of the Nuckelavee. According to legend, it was weak against fresh water. Luca and Marco frantically searched their backpacks and found their water bottles. They began to pour the water onto the creature, hoping that it would have some effect. To their relief, the Nuckelavee began to retreat, its screams filling the air. Luca and Marco felt a surge of adrenaline as they realized that they had managed to fend off the creature. However, their relief was short-lived, as they soon realized that the Nuckelavee was not going to let them go so easily. The creature began to pursue them relentlessly, its screams growing louder and more terrifying with each passing moment. Luca and Marco ran as fast as they could, their hearts pounding in their chests. They could hear the creature's breath on their heels, and they knew that they were running out of time. As they stumbled out of the ruins, they saw a glimmer of hope. A group of villagers had gathered outside, armed with pitchforks and torches. They had heard the commotion and had come to investigate. The Nuckelavee let out a final scream and then disappeared into the shadows. Luca and Marco collapsed onto the ground, their bodies shaking with fear and exhaustion. The villagers rushed over to them, offering words of comfort and aid. They helped them to their feet and led them away from the ruins, back to the safety of the village. The two friends were in a state of shock. They had never imagined that they would come face to face with a creature as terrifying as the Nuckelavee. They knew that they had been lucky to escape with their lives. As they sat in a local inn, recounting their harrowing experience, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. It was as though the Nuckelavee was still with them, its presence lurking just beyond their vision. Despite their fear, Luca and Marco couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at what they had experienced. They had come face to face with a creature of legend, something that few people had ever seen. They knew that their encounter with the Nuckelavee would stay with them for the rest of their lives. As the days passed, they continued to explore the area, searching for any sign of the Nuckelavee. They never did see it again, but they couldn't shake the feeling that it was still out there, waiting for its next victims.